In the quiet moments of dawn, as light first touches the surface of the vast ocean, a hidden world comes into view. Over the past several years, scientists have begun paying closer attention to something that most people never see, an almost invisible presence woven into the fabric of our world. It is a challenge born from our own creation, a testament to the enduring nature of the materials we have come to rely on so heavily. This is the story of an unseen dust, a confetti of our modern age, scattered across the globe. These are tiny fragments of plastic known as microplastics. Officially, they are defined as any piece of plastic less than 5 millimeters in length, about the size of a sesame seed. But in reality, most are far, far smaller. Microplastics are extremely small pieces of plastic that form when larger plastic items break down over time. They fall into two main categories. Primary microplastics are those intentionally manufactured to be small, like the microbeads once common in cosmetic scrubs or the industrial pellets used to create larger plastic products. Secondary microplastics, however, are the result of a slow, relentless process of decay. Every plastic bottle, every discarded bag, every piece of synthetic fishing net left to the elements embarks on a long journey of transformation. Sunlight, with its ultraviolet radiation, makes the plastic brittle, a process called photodegradation. The constant motion of water, the grinding of waves against sand and rock, and the force of the wind all contribute to physical wear, breaking the material apart. This mechanical abrasion slowly degrades plastic materials into smaller and smaller particles. Eventually, these fragments become so small they are measured in micrometers, millionths of a meter. They become a fine dust, invisible to the naked eye, yet present in almost every corner of our environment. To put that into perspective, a human hair is roughly 70 micrometers wide. A single grain of table salt might be 500 micrometers across. Many microplastic particles are far smaller than that, sometimes just a few micrometers in diameter, comparable in size to a red blood cell. With this near invisibility comes a pervasive spread. Researchers have now discovered microplastics in the deepest ocean trenches and on the highest mountain peaks. They are found in oceans, rivers, lakes, soil, and even the air we breathe. Because plastic materials are used in countless products, from the packaging that protects our food and the containers we drink from, to the synthetic fibers in our clothing, these tiny fragments gradually spread throughout the environment. They are carried by wind and rain, washed from our cities into rivers through storm drains, and discharged from wastewater treatment plants that cannot filter out such minuscule particles. One area that has drawn significant scientific attention is water contamination. Water is the lifeblood of our planet, and its purity is a reflection of the health of the environment it flows through. As scientists began to look, they found what they were searching for. Studies have detected microplastics in bottled water, tap water, and marine ecosystems across the globe. The presence of these particles in our water sources raises important questions about their origins and their journey. In some cases, these particles originate from the breakdown of plastic bottles themselves. The simple act of opening a cap, or the slight abrasion from transport and handling, can shed thousands of tiny particles into the water contained within. In other cases, they come from a vast array of environmental sources. Degraded packaging is a major contributor, but so are the synthetic fibers from our clothing. Every time we wash a fleece jacket or a polyester shirt, hundreds of thousands of microscopic fibers can be released into the wastewater. Tire wear on our roads creates a fine dust of rubber and plastic particles that washes into our waterways with the rain. These are the subtle, everyday sources that feed a constant stream of microplastics into the environment. From the water, these particles find their way into the food we eat. Microplastics have also been found in seafood, sea salt, honey, beer, and various other foods. Because the particles are so small, they can easily enter the food chain. They are ingested by the smallest of aquatic organisms, like plankton, which are then eaten by small fish. These fish are consumed by larger predators, and so the particles move upward through ecosystems, a process known as biomagnification. By the time seafood reaches our plates, it can carry with it a microscopic history of the waters it came from. Naturally, this discovery leads to a critical question. What does this mean for human health? Scientists are still working to understand the full picture, and it is an area of active and complex research. Current research suggests that most of the larger microplastics we ingest likely pass through the digestive system without being absorbed into the body. Our digestive tract is a resilient and effective barrier. However, there is growing concern and focus on the smallest of these particles, called nanoplastics. These are fragments smaller than 1 micrometer, so tiny they may behave differently. Some studies are exploring whether these extremely small particles may have the ability to cross biological barriers and interact with our cells and tissues. The research is in its early stages, and the scientific community is proceeding with caution and diligence. At this stage, the scientific community continues to study the long-term implications. It is a field that requires patience, rigorous methods, and a commitment to understanding the truth, free from alarmism. What is clear, beyond any doubt, is that plastic waste has become a global environmental challenge. To understand how we arrived here, we must appreciate the very qualities that make plastic so useful. Modern plastics provide enormous convenience. They are a cornerstone of our contemporary way of life, offering benefits that are easy to overlook. They protect food from spoilage and contamination, a critical role in our global food supply chain. They extend shelf life, reducing food waste and making fresh produce available to more people. They are lightweight, which helps to reduce shipping weight and the carbon footprint associated with transportation, and they help preserve countless products used in everyday life, from medical supplies to electronics. But plastics were designed to be durable. Their chemical structure was engineered for longevity and resistance to degradation. That very durability means they can persist in the environment for hundreds or even thousands of years before fully breaking down. As plastic items degrade, they do not biodegrade in the way that organic matter does. They do not return to the soil as nutrients. Instead, they fragment into smaller and smaller pieces, creating an ever-increasing number of microplastic particles rather than disappearing entirely. Because of this, many scientists and innovators are studying ways to reduce environmental plastic accumulation and mitigate its impact. Some strategies focus on improving recycling technologies. This includes developing better methods for sorting different types of plastics and finding new chemical processes to break them down into their original building blocks, allowing them to be remade into new, high-quality materials. Others explore the creation of entirely new materials. Researchers are developing biodegradable materials made from cornstarch, algae, or mushrooms, as well as alternative packaging systems that are designed to be compostable or easily reusable. While these large-scale solutions are vital, the path toward a healthier relationship with our environment also involves personal responsibility. For individuals, small, thoughtful daily choices can also make a difference. Using reusable containers for food storage and transport is a simple yet powerful step. Being mindful at the grocery store and consciously reducing unnecessary plastic packaging by choosing loose produce or products with minimal wrapping. Choosing glass or stainless steel bottles for water when possible, reducing the demand for single-use plastics. These individual steps may not eliminate our exposure to microplastics entirely, but they are meaningful acts of stewardship. They help reduce the overall volume of plastic waste entering the environment, lessening the burden on our planet for generations to come. As with many topics in modern health and environmental discussions, balance and perspective are important. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of the challenge. Microplastics are an emerging area of research, a field where our understanding is constantly evolving. Scientists are still learning how these particles move through ecosystems, how they interact with living organisms, and what their long-term effects might be. Responsible science requires careful study, the patient collection of data, and long-term observation, free from premature conclusions. It is a process of discovery, of asking questions and humbly seeking answers. From a biblical perspective, environmental stewardship is also a meaningful and profound theme. In the very first chapter of Genesis, humanity is entrusted with the care of the earth, to tend and keep the garden. This responsibility is not one of domination, but of gentle oversight and wise management. It includes managing resources wisely, protecting the intricate natural systems that sustain all life, and showing reverence for the beauty and complexity of creation. Understanding environmental challenges like microplastics is one part of fulfilling that sacred stewardship. The goal of this knowledge is not fear. Fear can paralyze, but understanding empowers. The goal is awareness. By learning how our modern world functions and how our collective human activity influences the environment, we can make wiser, more prayerful decisions about how we live. It is about recognizing the connection between our daily choices and the health of the world around us. And when knowledge is combined with a spirit of responsibility and a heart of stewardship, even the smallest of actions can contribute to healthier communities, a healthier planet, and a more faithful walk with the Creator of it all. Thank you for joining us on this journey of faith. If this message spoke to your heart, or opened your eyes to a new perspective on His grace, we humbly ask you to take a moment to like this video. Each like helps this message reach more searching souls. Share it with someone you know who might be seeking comfort or clarity. Your share could be the very sign they've been praying for. And please, subscribe to our channel. By joining our community, you ensure you won't miss out on more truth-filled, spirit-led content. In a world often filled with noise and confusion, your engagement helps us cut through the static. Together, we can be a voice for the voiceless, a beacon of hope shining brightly in the darkness, and a collective force for good in a world that is so desperately in need of healing and redemption. Every interaction amplifies this ministry, allowing the timeless truth of the gospel to resonate further than we could ever imagine on our own. We are profoundly grateful for your presence and your partnership in this divine calling. May the peace of the Lord be with you always. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.